shining, temperature rising. All smiles from every Chicagoan. Summertime and it's time to have some fun. So pop the top and grab me a cold while the boats are cruising. Your friends are snoozing. Hot sand and a little.
Hello, Bridgeport, Chinatown, McKinley Park, and Pilsen. My name is Steve Demitro, and welcome to Neighborhood Journal TV. We're a live stream show providing information on interesting topics for our community. And already thousands of people have watched us, and each week thousands and thousands of more are watching us. So we thank you, and please keep telling your friends about us. Did you ever look up in the sky and see the planets and the stars and wonder about them? Well, we got good news for you. Today, we have on our show a guest that's going to tell you all about that and some really cool programs. He is called Mr. Astronomer. Joe, we'd like to welcome Joe Guzman to the show. Joe, let's bring in Joe Guzman to the show, please. Thank you for joining us on Neighborhood Journal TV, Joe.
Hi, Steve. Pleasure to be here and chatting about all things astronomy under our urban skies.
Isn't that cool? So tell us. So you're from Pilsen, right?
Yeah. Born and raised Pilsen, Heart of Chicago,
Good for you.
and been in the same house since I was 3, as a matter of fact. And I'm an only child, no siblings, so I was spoiled, and and here I am today talking about astronomy.
So how did you get into astronomy?
I get that question asked quite often, Steve. Um, we all are connected to the heavens if we're not aware of it or not. Even especially when you're little kids, you're little boys and girls, and same with me. I used to steal my dad's binoculars and go in the backyard and look at the stars. I didn't know what I was looking at, but I was just so fascinated with looking at the different colors of stars, star clusters, and later on, as I became an adult and an educator, I finally realized what the connection there is. Steve, the elements in our body, the iron in our red blood cells, the nitrogen in our DNA, the calcium in our teeth and in our bones, all those elements came from the hearts of stars that exploded billions of years ago, and we have no idea what stars that they were. And the universe never wastes anything. It's always recycled and reconformed. And eventually, here we are, looking back at the stars. And this is the connection. This is how I got interested in astronomy. Back in my reptilian brain, my brainstem, we understand that that's home. That's where we came from. And every time we look up, we use binoculars or telescopes or just our naked eyes, we build that we connect back to where we came from. So that's why I'm interested in astronomy, and thousands of other people who follow the Chicago astronomers are interested. Is we're all looking back home. We're saying hi. I know where I came from.
You got a really cool program. Why did you? And we're going to go right there. Why did you start it, or how did you start? Well, why? Well, why and how?
Go both good questions. I always had an interest in astronomy, and when I was a little boy, I had 2 great interests in my life. I liked astronomy, and I liked law enforcement. And it's easier to get into law enforcement than to be a professor at a university.
Sure.
So, Chicago Police Department literally knocked on my door, and I joined when I was in my early 20s, and I was an instructor. And if you notice on my telescope, I got the checker
I've seen
bands
that. Yeah, yeah.
in homage to my 20 years in the
Good for
CPD.
you. Good for you.
A fantastic time. I ran youth programs, social activities, community service projects, and before you know it, over. Man, now what do I do? Well, I always loved astronomy, and I always continue and kept up with it throughout the years, but I just didn't have the time to devote to it, Steve. And when I retired from that, I organized the Chicago Astronomer. And how that came to be was I had a smaller telescope. This right here, what you're looking at, is the largest mobile telescope in the city.
No
I had a
kidding.
much
Wow.
Oh yeah, it's 11 inches. We'll get to that in a little bit.
Sure.
We measured by aperture, and oh man, that telescope just brings in those photons from billions of light years away. Um, I had a much smaller telescope, and I would set up by the Adler Planetarium for the ambiance. You got the lake there, you got a nice breeze, you got the museum, the institution there, and people would come up to me. They would ask, "Hey, what are you doing? Are you with the Adler?" And I said, "Well, no, I'm just me, just little old Joe, and I'm looking at Jupiter, for example, or Saturn, or the crescent moon coming up over the lake. Well, can I take a look?" Yeah, come on, because Joe likes to
Sure.
talk
Sure.
and socialize, and we start talking about the characteristics of Jupiter and Saturn's rings, and do you believe? Oh, always do you believe there's life out there? And yeah, well, I do. The universe never makes one of anything. And so they said, "Well, Joe, how can we come back and do this again with you?" I I don't know. I never thought that out. It was just for me. And so I started to collect emails, Steve, one by one. And after a while, this list it grew. Hundreds grew. And it was getting to be a chore to now type in all of these emails and send them out. So I created the Chicago Astronomer. And this was basically to document what I was doing as an astronomer, um, things that you can see under city skies. Now, people are misled to believe that you can't see anything under Chicago skies. With the light pollution and buildings and cars and glare. That's not the case.
No kidding.
You can see planets. You can see the surface of the moon. You can see nebulae. You can see binary stars, galaxies. You got the right type of equipment. You got the right guy to show you, me. uh, I can show you anything that you can see in the countryside. Now,
So is the
uh,
same? Is it better in the country or is it better
oh,
in the city
it's
to view?
better. The contrast is a lot better in the country because now you don't have to fight that glare. You don't have to punch through all that gunk in the air. So the skies are darker, and you want darker skies. Especially for faint objects. We call them DSOs, deep sky objects. But in the city, you can still see the same objects, not as what's a good word? Robust, perhaps. But I can show you the same things here in the city. Once I started the Chicago Astronomer, it was like I opened a floodgate. People started to enter worldwide, Steve, not just in
Oh,
Chicago,
great.
but worldwide. The internet's a wonderful tool, man.
Sure.
All the knowledge of mankind at your fingertips right now. And what do? We fight about cat memes, right? And
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
so, but it's such a valuable tool in sharing and teaching astronomy. And my fans, they started to grow and grow and grow, and I have thousands and thousands of loyal Chicago Astronomer fans who anticipate coming to my observation sites. I'm also the astronomer for the Chicago Park District, the 606 Trail, and I instruct at After School Matters, and it's a wonderful ride, Steve. They say if you love what you do, you don't work a day in your
You're
life, and
right.
I don't work at all. This is so much fun, Steve.
Well,
And
how do kids now? What are the ages?
well, with After School Matters, it's high school. It's
Hmm.
those young guys and girls who are just leaving grammar school and entering first year of high school. And this is for After School Matters, and
Sure.
I can keep them until just entering college. So I got about a good 5 years with
Sure.
these teens. Um, I have a limited amount of seats. I have two classes. Matter of fact, I started out with one at After School Matters. It became so popular, and I was a little nervous at first because I had really no idea what After School Matters was.
Sure. Sure.
I was teaching astronomy at a charter school here on Western Instituto. Steve,
Yeah.
you may know it well,
Yeah. Yeah.
25th and Western.
I do.
And one of the specialists who came to check one of the programs out was a folklore program at Ishka, um, and that's the name of the high school. It's a health high school, medicine. And hey, Mr. Guzman, I hear you teach astronomy. Well, yeah, I do. He said, would you like to teach for us, ASM? Steve, all I know is that they had the purple sign on the wall,
Yeah.
and I had no idea. And so we had a meeting, and the specialist, very nice guy, he's now retired and gone somewhere else. He told me that you got to teach 4 hours a day, 4 days a week for the summer program. And I said, 4 hours a day? How am I going to keep young minds involved?
Yeah, sure. In the summer.
Because right now it's only like 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Bang, you're in, bang, you're
Yeah.
out. Okay, and he's like, give it a try. If it doesn't work out, thank you, and at least we tried. Well, it was summer, 2017. And Steve, the background checks were vigorous. I was vetted so much, even
I
more
bet you
than
were. Sure.
I was during the Chicago Police Department,
Yeah.
state police, federal police, Homeland Security, Cook County. The list went on. You got to
Yeah.
pass one. You got to go over each hurdle. Yay, 100%. I'm
Yeah.
clean.
Sure.
So I got hired, and I was a little nervous, Steve. I was nervous. Yeah, I do astronomy, but now, am I going to have interested kids to want to share this with me for 4 hours a day? Well, the influx was so great. I only had 16 positions, and over 200 applied for that
No
first summer.
kidding. No kidding. Wow.
No, citywide. Schools like Walter Payton, Whitney Young, and all of these high echelon grade schools throughout the city. Well, throughout the years, it has grown incredibly, exponentially, Steve. Right now, for any term, I get like 500 applicants,
No kidding.
over
And
500.
how do you? Well, that was my next question. How do you pick who is the privilege
I
and honor of
interview.
being in there?
It's an interview process, and so we set time aside. And one, I require all applicants to write me a short essay. Why do you like astronomy, and why do
Sure.
you want to join my cruise? I want to know what's inside, what's going on, what motivates
Yeah.
you, why do you want to join the program? If you want to do it just for the buck, well, maybe there are other things that you do, but not here. And so that filters out some, and then you interview, and then you look for that spark, you look for that enthusiasm, that I want to know more about space. I want to know more about astronomy, because they don't teach that at CPS.
No.
And,
That's a,
and I ask that often. Do they teach you this kind of stuff? No, Mr. Guzman, we don't learn about this. And if we do, it was way back in fifth grade, and it was only for a day, and then we went on to something
yeah.
else.
They're
Here we can indulge. We're all geeks. We're all nerds. We're all space fanatics, and I love it, because
good
I'm a
for
geek
you.
and a nerd too,
You know,
and I can share.
I,
Go
I
ahead,
have
sir.
I have a question. So
Yes, sir.
with the park district, I see that you're offering your program to the park district. Can you tell us about that?
The park district knocked on my door when I did the Chicago Astronomer, and that was way back, like 2006, in that area. And they asked, "Hey, do you do public observation sessions?" Unofficially, yeah. Again, like when I
Sure.
was doing at the Adler area, and they said, "Well, do it for us, and we'll, of course, we'll compensate you for that." And it was such a success. My first one was at Union Park on Lake Street, Lake
Sure.
and Ashland.
Hmm.
We had about 100 people that came out. Park District took notice and said, "Hey, maybe we got something here." And so since then, I've been under contract with the Chicago Park District as their resident astronomer. And we're all over the city.
Good.
As far as north border of Chicago, close to Evanston, we go all the way down to Calumet City and parks in between. And at each park, we have a fan base, and just wait for us to come back and have a good time and talk about telescopes and
Good.
planets. And whereas normally they wouldn't have the opportunity
Sure. It's
to do
important,
such.
and you do great work. I host and I put together a kids fishing derby out of McKinley Park, and I get it stocked with largemouth bass, and I bring in people, little kids from the surrounding community. It's a great event. I'm thinking that it's usually a Saturday morning, the third weekend of September. I'm thinking maybe you can come out and with your equipment and do a little seminar.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll talk about that.
Sure.
The 2022 is a busy year for the Chicago Astronomer. We are booked practically every weekend, and that shows you how popular astronomy, urban astronomy is. People can't get enough, and we have our first session for 2022 on Friday, April 8th at the 606 Trail, where I'm also the resident astronomer, and we show up there the second Friday of each month, set up at the Western Trail end on the Ridgeway. We have a nice 360-degree view, and there we got a fan base as well, and it's a fun time.
Could 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 uh, could you tell us about this telescope that
Yeah,
you see?
this is a called a Schmidt-Cassegrain telescope, and what it does is it folds light into itself. If it didn't do that, the tube would be about 4 feet long, and that's very cumbersome. That's how you going to carry that around in your car, right? With a tube that's about 4.5 feet long. And there is a corrector plate in front, right by
Sure.
my head in that picture. Photons from stars, galaxies, moon, whatever you're looking at, enter that. Hit a big mirror in the back, right there. Bounce again into the front, and there's a smaller mirror bouncing again into you see that orange piece and then that right angle that goes up and then you look into that the whole assembly, it's heavy and it
I'll
comes in
bet. Yeah.
pieces and you set it together, and I lug this all around the city. When we load the car, it's telescope and mounts and camera
Sure.
equipment and monitors and laptops. It's a show,
I bet
people
it
want
is.
to.
Well, we're going to go into that, and now this. Tell us about this picture.
That is at the Adler Planetarium, where I'm also part of the telescope staff there. This is the old telescope that we used to have in the Dome Observatory. We replaced that with a 24-inch Cassegrain telescope, which is a beautiful telescope. In comparison to this is like 1900s
No
technology.
kidding.
So, yeah, and
Wow.
you see it's a fork, and it did the job, but it was so antiquated.
So you're that smaller telescope that we just seen the photo of is more powerful than this one right here.
Not necessarily. This one is stationary, whereas mine is mobile. Mine is
Uh huh.
11 inch. This one right here was 20 inch, so twice the size. And
Yeah.
in astronomy, bigger is always better because you want to get those faint photons to come into your telescope. We're all salivating for the big, huge
Sure.
telescopes. I wish I had time on the Hubble. That's another story.
Yeah.
And this is inside the observatory in the dome. And red lights, if you notice, help with night vision.
Why
So
is
your
that? What does it
pupils.
do?
Well, a red light doesn't affect your pupils.
Okay.
It maintains the width of your dilation. If you have a white light, then of course your eyes squinch down like this, and those photons are blocked.
Sure.
And the older we get, the less that our pupils are able to dilate. Kids, teens, they can probably dilate like 7 millimeters. Us, maybe 4.
Gotcha.
So any little edge that we can get, and red light is part of the tools that we use,
Sure.
it helps out a lot, and it looks cool anyway.
Here, can you tell us what this illustrates?
This illustrates me teaching my fans during a Chicago Astronomer session. It reflects off my tablet that I have in my hand there. This is a 24-inch monitor, I think it is. And on the tablet, I can manipulate planets. I can turn them inside out. I can go past the galaxy and questions that they may have on, what are Saturn's rings made out of? Well, instead of telling them, well, let's find out what they're made out of. So I can zoom in on Saturn. I can tilt her, and we can examine the ring structure on it,
So
and
so so
along with
so with this monitor, there's something pointing at the sky.
it has the ability to do that as well. I can put a camera, and then I can show them in real time on that monitor, so everyone is not crunching around the eyepiece.
Sure.
For example, lunar eclipses. It's a common event here in Chicago. We can see a lunar eclipse quite safely and easily. But I get long lines on
Yeah.
the
Sure.
telescope. I mean, long lines. So if you put a camera and you hook up to that monitor, they can all view it at the same time. and
Yeah.
take their pictures because everyone wants to put their camera up to the eyepiece,
Oh, is that right? No kidding.
and that eats a lot of time
Yeah,
out of the
yeah.
process. So no, a monitor helps in moving people along and the ability to talk about it. And I can use different kind of programs to whatever we're going to talk about, be it NASA spacecrafts or missions to Mars or planets or even just stars. So this monitor is a fantastic tool.
Good for you. Good for you. And now this is a really cool picture. This is Sox Park. So tell us about that.
We were invited to participate in an all-night activity at White Sox Park. Uh, this is the early 2000s, and they invited Boy Scouts there as well. And they thought maybe we could be the science part of that overnight session. And when we got notice about it, yeah, we're gonna do it because it's fun going on in the White Sox Park.
Sure.
We had a good time. We showed them planets, and kids arrived, and we were interviewed by the media, and this was a very very fun night. And we hope to do it again.
It looks like a lot. It looks like you guys are having a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, having a telescope in the infield. Did you ever see that before? I know I haven't.
Yeah.
And we can lay claim to that.
So are you is your seminar or program coming to like McKinley Park or in Pilsen or Brighton Park or anywhere in Bridgeport or anywhere else in the surrounding area?
In Pilsen, we will be at Harrison Park in the summertime. We have a high demand there, and we got a nice fan base.
Good for you.
A lot of kids come out. In the we break it up into north, central, and south. In central, we're at Smith Park. We'll be at La Villita Park as well in Little Village. I have to look at the schedule and see
Sure.
where all where all I'll be, but we're booked for 2022.
Good for you. Well, you do great work, and it certainly is interesting. And the kids and kid now, is it free? Is the program free?
My motto is since I'm on the contract and I'm taken care of. My motto is the skies are free and so are the views. So
Good
there's
for you.
never any charge for anyone who comes to our telescope and take a look because you know gas is expensive and parking and we pick sites where is free and you don't have to pay.
Well, you do great work, and we will spread the word for you, and we hope to see you shortly and over the summer.
Excellent,
And
Steve.
thank you,
Excellent.
and everybody, thank you for tuning in today to Neighborhood Journal TV. And please share this with your friends and family. This is some really good information for the community. Thank you, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you.
Thank you for having me,
Thank
Steve.
you,
Keep
Joe.
looking up.
Thanks. There you go. Thanks.